Hi, welcome to Blacticulate, a podcast series featuring UK young black professionals, where we find out how they do what they do, so you can too. Or not. After all, it is your life. So guys, today's episode, wow. She is phenomenal. Her name is Sade Salami. I'm only saying it like that because my mum is called Sade, and she is the managing director of Fresh Strawberries. Fresh Strawberries is an event company that deals with event marketing, social media management, and video production. And she was so gracious with her time. I met her at Pop Brixton, where she has an office unit there. It was hot, to say the least, and so we had to open the windows, so forgive us, because we did try and eliminate the noise as much as possible in post-edit, but it still cuts through. But you know how we do, we always try and make sure you can still hear quite clearly the speakers. So Sade tells us how she started. She tells us the mindset that she has and what we ought to have, particularly from a startup perspective. And she also tells us how she got into Google and how she's become one of its vendors. So if you are looking to start up your own business, if you're looking to understand the habits and the patterns of an entrepreneur, this episode is for you. So without further ado, I bring to you Sade Salami. Hey guys, welcome to another episode of Blacticulate. Now, for those of you who don't know what Blacticulate is, it is a podcast series that features UK young black professionals, where we try and find out exactly how they do what it is they do, so you can too. And I always have amazing guests, you know, that's because Blacticulate is all about black excellence. Hashtag. And the person who's laughing right now is Sade. How do I say your surname though? Salami? Yeah. Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Where's that from?
It's it's Nigerian. I'm Nigerian.
Yeah. Because my mum's name is Sade as well.
Oh, is it? Yeah. No way.
Yeah.
She must be lovely.
She's amazing.
She's amazing. Yeah, exactly. It's all Sades are. But sorry, where's it from? It's Arabic. It means peace, essentially.
Oh.
Yeah.
So the reason why I have you on Blacticulate is because actually we've met several times, but I won't throw you underneath the bus on this occasion. She was just like, Ade, I meet so many people, but I say we work together ish. Sade, what do you do? And yeah, we'll roll from there.
Okay, so essentially I run a company called Fresh Strawberry. We do primarily events, we do a little bit of production, and we do a bit of social media as well. So Fresh Strawberry's been going for 11 years now.
11 years? Yeah. Wow.
It's a long
Congrats.
time. Thank you. And for the last 6 years, we've been working with Google. So we're one of Google UK's official event vendors as well. I have 2 of my staff that sit in-house. It takes up a lot of our time doing so many different events. We probably do roughly about 300 events a year, that sort of thing.
Okay.
So it's very, very busy. And then, as I said, we do a bit of production as well. So we've done things like Sade London, which is a reality TV show, made for YouTube show that we done back in 2005. That's now actually turned into a podcast that we put out every Wednesday.
Okay.
And we've done like a talk show, which is called Time of the Month. And I feel like there's something else that we've done, but I can't remember.
I feel like you're doing a lot already. Event, production, and social.
Yeah, so also as well, I run a hair vlog with my niece called Natural Style Story as well.
Natural Style Story, a hair vlog.
Yes.
Okay, jeez. Where'd you find all the time?
Do you know what? I feel like, I can't remember who told me, but I really kind of subscribe to this. But I think if you want something to do, give it to a busy person. Like, you can just optimize your time and know how to prioritize. So I guess
if you want
just
something
make it happen.
to do, give it to a busy person. Okay, so we have to rewind because, geez, 11 years running. Can you give me the origin story? How it started?
Yeah. So, gosh, we looked very different to what we are now.
Yeah.
So, I started with a friend from uni.
What did you study?
I studied media art and music and sound recording. So, I wanted to be a producer, but I wasn't very good. But I'm good at mixing, actually. I'm really good at
Okay.
like mixing down tracks and stuff. But or I was anyway. But I think at the time, me and my friend, I think it was initially her boyfriend's idea. We used to kind of go out a lot.
Right. Like clubbing party. And
Yeah.
Gotcha.
Like every day we was out somewhere different. And we had a knack of like getting people together. We'd have parties that we lived together for a little while.
Oh, seen. Where was this?
In Bermondsey at that point.
Bermondsey,
Yeah.
Southeast. Okay.
Yes, yeah.
Yeah.
And but we had a knack of bringing people together. If you're anything like we were back in the day, if you could take a decent picture, then that means you could be a model, kind of thing. So initially, we started out as a modeling agency, and we kind of got like all of our pretty friends to be models too, kind of thing. So
this is you, your friend, and her boyfriend.
No, not the boyfriend wasn't involved. It was just like his idea to say, okay, maybe start a modeling agency.
Okay.
But at the time, I was working at Screen Nation. I was an event coordinator, or junior event coordinator, working with Charles Thompson, who's got an MBE now. And so working there, actually, Alexandria Mosi was actually like a sponsor of the company. Also, there was other companies that worked in the same building. So there was Alex and him doing what he's doing. There was a guy called Alf Orgy who ran Mob's videos, which was like early YouTube. Okay. Kind of. Mobile video kind of thing before that was a thing. And there was Anapix, which was an advertising company, and Screen Nation. Right. So I'm in this little hub, not knowing how to write a single email or anything.
How'd you get the job then?
It's actually very interesting because things just happen the way they're supposed to happen. Okay, so I actually went to that interview for practice. I didn't actually take it seriously in terms of like, I just thought, okay, I know I need to get a job. Right. I don't really know what I really want to do right now. Do you know what I mean? But it's good to kind of like get my skills up and like try and be better in the interview process. Yeah, so I went as practice, but then when I was in the interview, I was just like, oh my God, I want this job. I really do. So yeah, and I got the job, which was great.
Awesome.
So working in that hub of very influential men who had a wealth of knowledge, I was just like a sponge. I just kind of soaked everything up. And one of the guys there was just like, okay, like you're doing this modeling thing, but you should really make it official. Like, build a business and do this and stuff. And I really didn't know what I was doing really, but I was just like, okay, cool. How do I do that? Yeah. Go here, do this.
No. Let's speak about the house. How did you do it?
So literally, just contacting, I think either like a company that works on behalf of a company's house or something. Okay. So it's such a long time ago.
Yeah, no, I've heard of that. Like there are companies that help you start a company, like register your company house. If you need to trademark so and so, they're called like company starter agencies, aren't they?
So, but it was very cheap. I think, and this is going back maybe around £20, £30 or something. It was not expensive at all. Yeah. So I started that with my friend. And then a couple of things happened. Oh, no. I decided to come out of modelling. Okay. Personally myself. And then also because I just didn't like where the industry was. I didn't like the treatment because we had a lot of black models on our books and I didn't like the kind of like treatment of black models. I didn't like how they were perceived, how they were treated, how they... Can
you give me a story?
I don't know if I have one exactly, but just like... I remember we used to have a lot of issues with getting payment kind of thing. So that was like a big deal. And that seems like an ongoing theme. And it kind of made me think, it just highlighted us thinking, I like this world, like in terms of like the creativity of it, but I don't like being in the position I'm in. Do you know what I mean? Because I didn't feel like I had a lot of control. Right. I wasn't making decisions, basically. Gotcha. That's my main thing. But then I'd done lots of other things in the meantime. So obviously I'd done Screen Nation, I'd done that event. Then I was doing like lots of other little events. Then I was styling when the stylist
And this is all freelance space or?
A lot of it was...
Via Screen Nations?
Oh, this is all different. This is not...
Oh, different timings. Yeah. Mm-hmm. Oh, sorry. Oh, wow. Okay.
So yeah, so like... This is kind of like the early days when I was doing lots of different things.
Right, just trying to figure out what you wanted to do.
Exactly. And I think that's really important, Like, I think definitely younger people take advantage of that and just try it as much as possible. Like, give it your all, obviously, but just work out what it is that you can do, especially if you want to work in any kind of media or creative industry. It's such a benefit because I'd done that. I was able, like, I know some people see this as a disadvantage, but I know a little about a lot of different things.
Right, gotcha.
Do you know what I mean? And I've definitely worked that to my advantage, you know? So I think it's really important to do that.
Do you think that helps if you were to go into, I don't know, company size, like an enterprise company, a huge company, being a generalist, for lack of a better term?
I think it can only hurt you if you allow it to. Do you know what I mean? Like, you still might be able to find your niche there. Do you know what I mean? You might start off as that, but doesn't necessarily mean that's where you're going to end up, right?
Okay.
So, and also as well, I think everyone, I know it sounds a bit blasé, but everyone has different roles. Not everybody is supposed to lead in a certain area or do a certain thing. Do you know what I mean? You need to find where you fit, basically.
How can you find where you fit?
Try things.
Yeah, just keep trying.
You really do. And I think it is about, going off topic a little bit, but it is about not compromising. Okay. Do you know what I mean? Like, I think that anywhere, because I used to temp a lot as well. So around this time when the business wasn't necessarily doing so well, it wasn't that serious, I guess, I would subsidize my salary by temping, kind of thing. Right. So I'd, you know, maybe do a week here, a couple of days here, whatever kind of thing, just to make sure I've got enough income coming in, because it is very tough in the beginning.
Always is, isn't it?
Yeah. But if I felt like I didn't belong here, I'm not going back to the company. Especially as Black people, that is really important. I think that it can, not necessarily, this has happened to me, but I've seen people that where it's affected their mental health. Do you know what I mean? It can affect your progress. It can affect your, like, just your general well-being. Your
well-being, for sure.
Whether you feel like you belong in a company or not.
You went into creative subjects.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
You're Niger.
Yeah.
Let's talk about that conversation.
So I guess I wasn't at home when I was studying. So I chose to study something that I wanted to do. Right. That was basically it.
Do you mind me asking when you mean you weren't at home? What does that mean?
I left home when I was 16. So.
Okay. Yeah. Like your dad, your parents' household. Mm-hmm. Okay.
Kind of thing. So I was in hostels, basically fending for myself. So I didn't have that pressure, to be honest. Although I think my family were just happy that I studied something. Right. Like, do you know what I mean? As long as I got good grades, that was all that matters. And it's actually very interesting because I do feel like education was an anchor for me that definitely kind of kept me from going wayward, I would say. Oh, really? I don't know. Okay. Yeah, definitely. Because I feel like if I didn't have that, I guess, I want to say expectation there, then maybe I wouldn't have gone down this path, right? Do you know what I mean? But that expectation, like, for those that don't know, being in a Nigerian household, that's kind of drilled into you from day one, that you will do this, at this age you will do this.
Education permeates throughout.
Exactly. Like, without education, it's nothing is possible, to be honest. That was what we was taught, definitely.
Yeah. Do you agree with that?
No, I don't actually. Okay. No, I don't. I think that university is great for socialization, and I think it's great for, like, having a network of people if you use it to your advantage. Mm-hmm. But I don't think it's necessary. Not if you want to become like an entrepreneur. It's not necessary. Right. So for some people, it's actually a waste of time. And I think that there is an elitism when it comes to education that kind of puts people, you know, in this kind of bubble that because they have these academics, then they're kind of like smarter than other people. And it's like, yeah, you might be academically smart, but do you have emotional intelligence? Like, do you know what I mean? Like, are you able to read someone? Are you able to read a situation? Yeah. Do you have experience in this field to kind of make the decisions that you're making that's going to affect these people? Do you know what I mean? I don't think it's necessary.
Having an educational degree, like bachelor's, a master's, or PhD, opens doors.
It can do.
Isn't there a lot of times in applications when one has to fill out a job vacancy, they have to say what their degree is, education background?
I mean, you know what? To be honest, that's the society that we live in, and that's what we're taught. That's the majority of people. Yes. So yes, it does in that sense. However, I know some people, you know, employees at Google, for example, who don't have a degree. Do you know what I mean? They've just got experience, kind of thing. And sometimes it just doesn't it depends no, I don't know if it depends what field you're going into.
I can imagine it does, though, doesn't the industry? Like, you wouldn't technically, you wouldn't be given opportunities. Let's say you're going into industries where you need, or you require at least 7 years of vocational experience.
I mean, like if you're being a doctor and stuff, then that's something different. You know what I mean? But like,
it's a tough one.
I just don't think it's, maybe what I'm focusing on is maybe the creative industries and being an entrepreneur. Yeah. I don't think for those industries, it's absolutely necessary. You know, if you want to write, then write. Do you know what I mean? You don't need an English degree to write, you know?
You're 100% right.
So, and I think also as well, in this day and age, the use of the internet and stuff, you all know quickly, you can know if you want to, whether you're good or not. Because the marketplace will tell you. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly.
So, around 4 years of you doing temporary jobs as well as working for Screen Nations. Is that right?
Well, no, I wasn't working for Screen Nation the whole time. That was just my first entry point into the
careers.
industry, if that makes sense. Yeah, kind of thing. But I was doing like lots of different types of roles, if that makes sense. So, as I said, like stylist, photographer assistant. I think I worked with a paparazzi at one point.
What?
A bit random. But I was just really curious to see, okay, how does this world work, right? Do you know what I mean?
But it was very much in the creative industry.
Yeah.
So it seems your pattern.
Yeah. Right. Yeah. I had a blog. I was like a stylist assistant for Italian Vogue. We had a column in a magazine called Colors with a friend of mine, Tamara.
Here's a question then I've got for you. Is there any roles that you've ever applied for that you haven't got?
Oh, yeah.
Okay, loads.
Yeah, of course.
How do you handle rejection?
What, rejection? Oh, mate, I think I'm kind of on to the next, really. Like, you can't dwell on it too much.
Right.
Like, you really can't. I think it's a waste of time because it's not meant to be.
And it's just as simple as that?
Yeah.
Aren't you allowed to wallow a little bit?
I think self-pity is not a good thing.
Okay.
I really don't think that is. I think if you kind of get caught up in there, you're kind of dealing with forces that you can't control. You have no control over that. Okay. So it's like insanity.
No, fair enough. Yeah. So I'm getting your history a little bit. From the age of 16, you went into, or you started thinking about a career in the creative field, but you're not too sure what. And then you just started putting your hand into everything. Your first venture, you worked within Screen Nations, but then you started establishing your own modelling agency. And guess what? You didn't really like that because of the way the industry then, and possibly still now, treats people of colour.
Yeah.
Now, help me out moving forward from that. So you parked that agency?
No, this is still all under the Fresh Strawberry umbrella. We've just evolved. The company is just evolved.
So you're still working with your partner?
No, unfortunately, no.
There's a story there.
So we decided to go separate ways quite early on, actually. Okay. I think by maybe year 2. Kind of thing. Just differences, really. I think we outgrew each other as people as well. So it just didn't work out.
Work out?
Yeah.
Okay.
Then, I think, so managing like brands, I'll say, that was probably the last point before Google, really. Right. So I got to a point where I think this was maybe just after a recession, but things were going
2008.
bad. 2008. Yeah, it was going, no. It was a little bit later than that. But things weren't going well at all. So maybe end of 2010.
What do you mean? Do you mean financially?
Financially,
or just
things weren't. Financially, things weren't going well. But at this point, I was working on Fresh full time. But I came to a point where it was just like, no, this is actually too hard now. Right. This is I'm not making any money. I'm doing like too much work. I think I was probably feeling a bit of burnout as well. Right. Just been operating at such a intense level for so long. So I thought, you know what, do what always do when things get hard. Just go and find a job. But I wanted to make sure that I would be working in something that was in my field. So it had to be creative, had to be around events or something, because I was doing quite a few more events at that point in time. Okay.
And this is you singularly, right?
Yeah.
Okay, because your partner, you split it in like 2 years.
I did have some stuff. I had some interns at one point, but I think they had whittled out and stuff. I think there was days we couldn't really pay people and all that kind of stuff, so it was a bit difficult to keep them on board. I just decided to look for a job. So I had a little strategy. So I used Reed, and I use Reed because it shows you how many people applied for each job. Also as well, you can see when the job was posted as well. So my strategy was to only apply for jobs that had under 10 people, and I would look at patterns of when they would post a job. So you see that recruiters were posting Sunday nights was a good time, lunchtime was a good time, and end of day was a good time as well.
Right.
With all that in mind, I just applied for, I can't even remember, I used to have the figure somewhere, maybe like 120 jobs in a week or something like that.
Jeez, wheeze.
So, and also I gave myself a week to find a job as well. So I was just like, by the end of this week, I'm going to find something.
So the idea is when they do post it on Reed, you want to be the first one to...
Yeah, you want to be in that first 10, because that's what, I just assume that's what they're going to look at, right?
The recruiters look at the first 10.
Yeah, I think when you get to like 20, 30, 40, they're not looking anymore.
Exactly. If you don't know your candidates within the first 10 batch, then...
Yeah, exactly. And that's if they don't have people on the books already. It was just like, nah. Like, you have to be in there.
120 jobs that you're applied.
So I think it was around that figure. I can't remember exactly, but it was definitely a lot. But I was really, really completely on it. And I got 2 interviews. One I went to, they said no, and then the next one, because I didn't know who was interviewing for the next one before, so they had done a telephone interview, it's fine, and then I think at the second round they told me it was Google. It's just like, oh, okay. Yeah. So it was for a temp position, doing events, but really focusing on small businesses. And since that all my clients are essentially small businesses, do you know what I mean? Like I fit a very specific niche.
Yeah.
So the last interview, I remember being like very deflated after the interview. Oh. Yeah, but the thing is, like going into it, I was just saying, you know what? I'm just going to be myself. Like I'm literally just going to be myself. Because I thought if they don't want me, it's just not going to happen. Do you know what I mean? Kind of thing. And I thought, because it's a lot of pressure, right? I mean, that's not, essentially, I didn't apply for them, do you know? Because I didn't know. Yeah, you didn't know. Do you know what I mean?
Had you
applied for the role. I mean, I don't think I would, at that point in my life, I probably wouldn't have the confidence to. Really? I wouldn't go on the Google site and think, oh, let me check for jobs here and try and work here. Because I think it's the same issue as I was saying before. I wouldn't expect them to want someone like me, or also as well, like, is my experience relevant? Do you know what I mean? Like, okay, yeah, I've got a 2-1, but are they looking for people with first? Like, don't they need someone with a master's? Like, do you know what I mean? And that sort of thing. So that's why I say it doesn't really matter. Yeah, no, really doesn't. So,
deflated.
Yeah, I felt really deflated because I really couldn't read the interviewer. Right. He's completely blank. And so I was just like, oh, it has to be a no then. Do you know what I mean? So then when I got yes, like I was just, what? Are you sure?
Do you remember
some sort of mistake? Yeah, I do. Well, I'm not going to say the name.
Okay.
But yeah, so I was working on the Partners Program, which used to be called Engage, which is working with like agencies, helping them to, educate them and but in terms of event, improve their knowledge about AdWords or
Google products.
That sort of thing. Or congratulating them for being part of a campaign or whatever kind of thing and producing results and stuff. So yeah, it was really cool. And yeah, it was just really cool. But when you're at Google as a temp, you can only work for a certain amount of time. So after that time, you have to take a break.
How long is that time?
Or 11 months.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think they say that because if it's a year or longer, then they have to officially, government-wise, you have to be on your payroll on the books.
Yes, yeah, exactly. But the team all from the very beginning knew that I had a company. So I think after my first break, I'd done another 11 months or roundabout. And then after that, that's when Fresh Strawberry became a vendor.
Amazing.
Kind of thing. So... And that was in 2011 I started.
Right.
So 6 years kind
Amazing.
of thing. So now we've been with Google longer than the company's been alive, which is really bizarre.
Mate, amazing.
Really
Congratulations.
Thank you.
That was a journey and a half.
Yeah.
Wow. And there was a lot of things in between. Okay, so now we're in fresh strawberries.
Yes. Strawberry.
Apologies. Do I keep on saying plural?
I think so.
Or was that the first time?
Second time.
It might have been the second. Apologies.
That's okay.
Fresh strawberry.
Yes.
Guys, always call me out when needed. You must have a plethora of people asking you, what are your sort of best piece of advice of starting a company like yours and excelling within it, or rather at least sustaining it itself? Because you have a team.
Yeah.
I'm looking at them right now, and there's at least 6 people.
So not everyone's in today.
And not everyone's even in.
Yeah, because it's hot.
Yeah, exactly.
And we've got a small space. But we have 9 members of core staff.
Right.
And then we've got 15 casual staff. But sorry, so in terms of starting...
Yes, let's start with that.
I think you just got to do it. I think you just actually, like, everything that I've done from an entrepreneur perspective has been trial and error.
Right.
Like, I didn't go to like seminars. I didn't go to like these gurus, whatever kind of thing. I literally just done it. And most of it was out of necessity in terms of like, okay, I need to pay my rent. So I need to book this job and I need to do this now kind of thing. So it's just, I think if you've got that and you've got, especially people dealing with any type of adversity and stuff, I guess like I was, that is the most powerful thing. I think that if you have that, then use that and have it to drive you, because it can really help with your vision and your focus.
Do you ever speak about the adversity that you've had? The reason I ask is that I'm wondering whether or not that makes a great entrepreneur in of itself.
Does it? I mean, okay, for me personally, like growing up was very difficult. I grew up with my dad and my stepmother. Me and my stepmother didn't really get on, kind of thing, but it was like more than that. It was a very abusive relationship, which pushed me to leave when I was 16. My dad died when I was 17, and actually watched him die as well, kind of thing. Me and my stepsister, we tried to resuscitate him, but he didn't come around. So that has a big impact, you know, like it was tough. It was really, really tough. And then being in the hostel system, I was there from 16 to I got my flat at 19. Like literally, it's basically a boarding school with no rules and no school. Do you know what I mean? Like, so it's very
no school.
So you can do any and everything. And when you're in a hostel system, like you're almost like invisible homeless, right? So you're not really, I don't know how it is now, but back then your numbers don't really count because you're not sleeping rough. The government do provide, but there's certain things that have to be in place. So, for example, your parents will have to say, like officially in a letter, say that you are estranged from home in order for you to get any sort of benefits. Now, coming from a Nigerian household, it's just never going to happen. Like my parents are never going to officially say in any sort of way that I don't live here anymore. But just because of, you know, the
tradition.
Yeah, do you know what I mean?
Where, you know, neighbours,
kind of thing.
How you perceived.
So for a long time, I couldn't get any benefits. I couldn't get any money or anything like that. So it was very difficult. So I had to kind of, had to do hair actually. I think that was probably one of my first businesses.
Oh, really?
Actually, like, it was around, showing my age again, around the time of R. Kelly, I think, or maybe before that, slightly before that. Guys wanted their hair plaited, so £5 a head. So I used to do that. Yeah, exactly. So I used to have to try and make money whichever way I could, really. Do you know what I mean? And be really economical. But that was, I guess, in a sense, there was that determination to survive. And I think, like, if you apply that to business, then definitely that. Yeah, you can see that with Fresh Strawberry. It's about adapting and surviving. Being the way that, do you know what I mean? Like, okay, when modelling wasn't working out, we adapted into something else and adapted into branding, events. Do you know what I mean? Kind of thing. Like, any business in this day and age, you do need to be agile. You need to be able to move with the times. Like, definitely.
It's apparent even just from your story how you are you've got a great survival instinct.
I think so.
Right. I mean, well, you are right now. So. In accordance to what I've gathered. Forgive me. I hope I'm not too far in saying that.
No. I think, it's hard sometimes to see myself like that, I guess. But I mean, we're here,
and you're killing it. So yes. So we went back to the essentials: having grit, having the notion of knowing that things aren't always going to be smooth sailing. In fact, it's a fallacy to think otherwise.
Yeah, exactly.
And it's about just being adaptable and being agile.
Yeah.
Now, the question, and I think I moved forward from that, was not only the best piece of advice, but how do you start growing?
So the thing is, I think it's like your people. I think after like Screen Nation time, so my timeline is a bit hazy.
Nice little
but I had a big client then, Sleek Hair. So that gave me the ability to not work anywhere else as well, kind of thing.
Amazing.
So and that was quite early on. And How did
you get Sleek Hair?
So because I worked on Screen Nation, they were a sponsor,
right.
but they previously had sponsored, I think they either previously sponsored, didn't have a great experience, but then they sponsored this time and they had a wonderful experience, kind of thing. So always do a good job, right?
Yes. That's one key takeaway.
Yeah.
Just a good job.
So I think they must have approached me. And they said they were doing this campaign and they needed someone to head it up. They gave me some paperwork and it was just like come up with a strategy kind of thing, which at that point I'd never done those things before.
Wow.
I was working with someone at that point in time who did help me with it, but then I had to attend the meeting by myself. It was just insane. Like, it was just so overwhelming.
You and how many people in the room?
Yeah, like, there was literally like 6 other people.
Jeez.
Yeah, and I'd never done anything like this before in my life. Like, seriously, never. And didn't really know what I was saying. I just didn't know. I just thought, try a thing, innit?
Yeah, simple as.
But, you know, I was able to do a good job, which is great.
Yeah.
And I do have to thank Sleep because that was a big breakthrough. And also as well, that really helped with transitioning from modelling, right? So I could still give the girls jobs, but not the same type of jobs. So it was like event-based jobs kind of thing.
Gotcha.
Yeah. So
being hostesses and whatnot.
Yeah, exactly, kind of thing. So at that point, I think that was probably the first time I'd hired.
Right.
But I did keep it a family. I hired my brother at that point in time, and he got a wage, and he came to the office, and all that kind of stuff.
I love that. What was his role?
He was he doing
chief.
marketing?
I'll go from the top.
Yeah. He's doing something along the lines of marketing.
Okay.
I think he designed one of our first logos and stuff. And
nice.
Yeah, looked at our systems and things like that. So yeah, that was good. But then moving forward, like I said, I've had interns before. I think if you don't have a lot of money, you're not very profitable at the beginning. Like interns are great, but just making sure that you give them value, right?
Yeah.
So, for example, like know your system, teach them your system, or like make sure that they have real hands-on experience in terms of what the project is. So like get an intern to kind of like run and get you coffee. That's just like big no. Yeah, they have to get something of value out of it, but also know the value. I think I get a lot of like friends in business who are just like, oh, but I can't do this, and I can't pay them, or I can only give them travel and stuff. Just like as long as you're giving value, then do you know what I mean? They've got to learn somewhere, right? Do you know what I mean? So if you need the help right now, then use them. There's so many people out there that do want the experience.
How'd you find them?
God's word of mouth, mainly word of mouth. I think as we've grown, like where we are today, we've used recruitment agencies. Probably wouldn't go there again, to be honest. Or just on job sites and stuff and things like that. There's different networks and things that you can use depending on what type of person you're looking for. I think like now, although it does sound really wishy-washy, I don't think we interview anyone that's not doesn't fit the criteria in terms of qualification, but really and truly it's about vibe. Do you fit in our company?
Yeah,
do you know what I mean?
Vibe, right?
Yeah, exactly. That's what it is, which is very difficult. Like an interview is a very artificial situation. It is. Anyway, and the thing is you have to make such big decisions, especially if you're for a small company, based on 45 minutes? Do you know what I mean? Or maybe 2 sets of 45, like 90, 90 minutes.
Yeah. I mean,
kind of thing.
Yeah, you're absolutely right. The artificial and the pressure on either side, really and truly, to make it right.
Yeah.
Do you have like trial periods?
We do 3 months probation, like standardly, I think. Yeah, standardly across the board, 3 months probation. In that time, we'll see with, the right fit kind of thing. And then if you pass, then you become a fresh strawberry. If you don't, then you don't kind of thing. Especially when you're in the service industry, you're essentially selling your system, or you're selling the people, right? Do you know what I mean?
No, 100%.
That's what you're selling. So it's not a tangible thing,
No,
right? So everyone needs to be in that kind of like unison. It's almost like you're rowing a boat, right? Do you know what I mean? You get that rhythm and stuff, and those things really help. And you need to have people that can work in that rhythm. Don't get me wrong. I'm not saying that no one can have an opinion. I'm all for that. I always listen. I don't necessarily always agree with you, but I always listen, because what you're saying might not be relevant now, but it might be relevant later. My dad always said, learn from everyone. Like, it doesn't matter how old or young they are, just learn from everyone. And I think it's very true about that. But I think to have people that are too disruptive, especially when you're small, can be
problematic.
You're very problematic. I think you can have that if you're in a larger company. It kind of doesn't necessarily affect things as much.
Yeah, have you heard the expression where they go, if 5 of us are all the same, then 4 of us are redundant? But I get for you, I mean, you need to be all in unison, and I love that analogy of rowing the boat.
So I have people in the team who there's one person at the moment that's probably very similar to me.
Right.
Do you know what I mean? Just in terms, they don't do the same type of work I do, obviously. They do something completely different, almost like other end of the spectrum, but personality-wise, very, very similar.
Right.
Like in terms of the level of passion to work, and like maybe almost like when things aren't going right, displaying that passion, all that kind of thing. That's the only person that's similar to me.
Right, gotcha.
Everybody else, they're not the same type of person, but there's a shared value.
Yes,
there's shared values. Do you know what I mean? So I guess maybe I don't really care if someone has a different opinion. That's fine. That's absolutely fine. But if that doesn't go the direction we're going, are you able to still go that direction?
Yeah,
do you know what I mean? There's some people that are just
just walls.
Do you know what I mean? Like all the time, and that's when it becomes unhelpful.
Okay. I don't know whether we've painted No, we have. I feel we have. We've painted a thorough enough picture. But how can you define yourself to say, you know what, I'm an entrepreneur because I've got these attributes, or to be honest with you, I'm better off working within an established?
I think it's hard. It's really hard to say without trying it. But I do think you have to be honest with yourself. You know what? I always I say this to my team, yeah. And I know sometimes they think I mean it in a way, but I will outwork all of them. Like I will, and I can outwork all of them. There's nothing in this business apart from, like, I don't know, graphic design that I haven't done myself before, or I'm not prepared to do. If I don't know something, I will learn. I'll find the answer or try and get it from someone or whatever. But like, you have to be an entrepreneur, you have to be like such a force. You have to have, to a certain extent, you have to have a certain level of ego. You have to have a level of confidence. And also the understanding, as I said before, this position is very lonely. Do you know what I mean? And being okay with that, to know that some of your decisions that you're making, that not everyone's going to understand. Only you will understand. You won't be able to communicate it. And that is, I know it sounds a bit surface almost, but I think that is fundamentally what kind of makes you an entrepreneur. You've got to be more focused than everybody else in your team. Like you really have to be, and just go an extra mile. If that means, you know, you have another night where you're only having a couple of hours sleep, that kind of thing. Like, what's going to drive you to do that? If you're just working for a company, you might just roll over and just go to sleep. But if you know that the buck stops with you, do you know what I mean? You're responsible. Because they say, like, if you're in charge, you're responsible for the good, you're responsible for the bad too, right? So if we all mess up, it's my fault. But I kind of take that responsibility on, like I really do. Like I don't expect that from my staff because they're working for me.
Yeah.
Not the other way around. So
okay, brilliant.
Yeah.
Is there anything that you think I've overlooked and haven't asked you regarding how people can start, set up, what they should consider?
Oh, okay. I would say that you need to make money.
Okay.
I think that we're in this weird era right now. Yeah. There's a couple of things that are happening. There's a lot of people calling themselves entrepreneurs and they're not entrepreneurs. There's a lot of people just going through this whole, this funding process, and getting money for their businesses and losing a lot of money, and very early on in their careers as well, kind of thing. And I think, it's very easy to lose someone else's money. It's probably the easiest thing in the world. It really is. It's like, do you know what I mean? Or spend it or whatever kind of thing. But like, I think personally, a true entrepreneur builds the wealth themselves and spends their own money. That's what I think. Right. And I know not everyone agrees with that, but I think until you do that, there needs to be another name for it. You can't really call yourself an entrepreneur.
Okay. Now, before I ask people how they can find you and when they do find you, what you want them to do, be it a client or be it potentially a new employee or whatever, I do normally have light fire questions.
Okay.
So if you can do a TED Talk on anything but your actual profession, what you do, what would it be on?
Ooh, that's a good one. What would it be on? Probably about surviving against adversity.
Sure. If you had your last £5, what would you spend it on?
Internet connection or something.
£5 internet connection?
Yeah,
Where's that coming from?
I don't know. That's what I was thinking. I have to do last money. Will probably go on Wi-Fi.
Yeah. The needs. We must have
like
it.
That. Yeah.
Okay, and because it's Blacticulate, which is Black Action Articulate, what is a word that you don't like, that jars you, irks you, makes you maybe cringe?
Oh, do you know, only because I can't say it properly and I can't say a lot of words. I have to think about it. Specific? Yeah. I do not say it properly. Yeah. And every single time it annoys me.
Yeah, okay. Yeah. Gotcha. So you've been amazing, Sade. You really have, and I'm really grateful. Now, how can we find you? Your socials, your web, anything you want us to do when we do find you?
Sure. I'm just Sade Salami on all social platforms, and our company website is freshstrawberry.co.uk, or you can just email me, my name at freshstrawberry.co.uk.
Hey guys, we really appreciate you listening, and if you have any feedback whatsoever, please do leave it in the comment section below. Also, you can get all the information on the guests, the links and resources we speak about in the description below. There's plenty more videos in our archives in our video section, so do check that out. And last but not least, and this is really important, if you are somebody who can teach us how you do what it is you do, because Blacticulate is all about empowering and upskilling the community, then please get in touch, because we'd love to feature you too. Guys, you're the best. Hope you have a great day and see you soon.